All right, so welcome to part two of the attempt of a stream that started earlier this morning. I ran into this little issue where the engine crashed for whatever reason, and um, afterwards it was just not compiling shaders, and it was just stuck. So I ended up updating my video card driver, and seems to be working. So on we go. One of the things that I left off was what was going on. I was gonna show how the weapon behaves when you actually, collide with something, and it wasn't particularly working in this level, but it was working in the test level. So guess what? This is due to the procedural foliage volumes that were actually colliding with the trace that I'm doing to see if the weapon is about to collide with the wall. So what I ended up doing is I actually just moved the procedural foliage volumes onto a different level. It seems like it hasn't affected I'm not sure. I think this is just a performance thing where these don't show up immediately. But I was able to still run the simulation and to get them to populate on top of the terrain. Right, so with that said, this is gonna look kind of like this. At least I'm still gonna, oops, that's all loud. I'm still gonna try to get this little combat thing to happen, where you would kind of climb up on top of one of these buildings and be able to take the enemies from up top. Now that if I equip the bow, I should be able to point it and actually fire it. So yeah, it's because it's not colliding with the foliage volumes anymore, which was a little odd. I'm not entirely sure why that happens, but just a thing to keep in mind. All right, well, in that case, let's get some of the enemies in place around this building and get them to do like a little bit of patrolling, kind of just going back and forward. And let's see if we can take some of them out. All right. Well, first of all, I just wanted to make sure that I'm not doing that trace anymore. There we go. All right. Well, let's take a look once this saves. There you go. It did. Let's see about. I'm gonna be adding some of the enemies. Make sure that they're doing their kind of patrolling, and um, try and target them. All right. Well, first of all, let's see. What I wanted to do is I'm going to be in this delivery warehouse level for now. So let's select that delivery warehouse level. And as you've seen, the way I'm using this is I have an enemy spawner. So at the start of the game, wherever one of these guys is placed, it's going to spawn an enemy. And when it does, we can also set the current status, if it's patrolling or if it's just sitting around ignoring or chatting, and if it's patrolling, like a patrol path. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one of those in here. So let's do that. And this one's going to be uh, place actors and patrol path. So with the patrol path, the way this is set up, I can place multiple points around the level or around where our navigation mesh is set up so that this guy, the enemy, can move around too. And in this case, let's try and do one around here. Let's add another one for a patrol point. And I'm actually going to put it inside of the inside of this warehouse over there, and maybe I'll put one inside here. Let's see how that's gonna do. And this one is gonna be, let's do it there. Okay, one thing to not forget is to add that navigation mesh. So we have this one, and I'm gonna make it so that it's looping, and this one is saying just to stay for zero point 0.5 seconds in one spot. So I'm gonna make it maybe 2. All right, and when this one spawns, what I wanted to do is I wanted to approach this patrol path, and it's just going to be patrolling as default. So we'll test to see if this works as expected. Let's do that. All right, so the levels are currently loading. Let's see, did this guy get spawned or not? Oh, I think I might need to place it a little bit higher up. Let's see. I think this one being kind of below ground, I need to set it up a little bit higher. So that's a little bit one of the fixes to this particular item. And I'm actually just gonna jump into game. Let's see how this works. And oh, the one thing that I did forget, and now I'm just thinking about it, is that well, for starters, it did not place the enemy, but I still didn't get navigation mesh in here, so I need to fix that. The only thing is, this one is in the right level, and I'm not entirely sure why it did not spawn an enemy. It should have just spawned an enemy here. So let's first also not forget about adding that navigation mesh. Nav mesh. All right, so if press P, you can see it. And I'm just gonna try and make it so that it encompasses at least the buildings and the area around it. So there it goes. So that way it knows where it can navigate. So it looks like it can negotiate the entrance into the warehouse. The only trouble is why it does not spawn an enemy. So let's take a look at the level blueprint. So that should definitely spawn an enemy once it goes into game mode, but I'm not entirely sure why it doesn't. There should be an enemy spawned right here. Let's take a quick look in the outliner. Yeah, it's right there. Do I need to spawn it to move it even higher up? Let's do a quick, and here in my level blueprint, what I have is, while, there's all the levels that are loading, including this delivery warehouse level, and then in the initialize mode is where I'm actually spawning the player, and then getting all the actors of class, which is this enemy spawner, and then spawning that enemy. but I am not entirely sure why it's not um, spawning it properly. Let me try adding my test level just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So my maps and then test level, because I know they get spawned at the test level, but I'm not sure why it's not over here. All right, so let's bring this up and let's make sure that I'm using this particular one, which this one I know it works. So this section here, I'm gonna be adding it instead of this enemy, which seems a little bit outdated in here. All right, let's see if this helps in any way, having this placed in here. All right, and I can hide this. I don't need it to be underwater. All right, so there we go. Now it should have been small spawn. Let's take a look and see. There he is. He's right there. Not entirely sure. Okay, there he goes. So he's on his patrolling path, and whenever he gets to a point, it's just, oh, I think he saw me. That's no bueno. Let's get away from him. And I need to make this, it's a little tight for the capsule. It still looks like you can fit through it, but I need to make it so that you're not going to be able to fit through it. And oh, hey, she's just following me along. Just, I'm going to need to equip my bow. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There we go. So that took care of that guy. And the also the thing that I've done is the arrow gets attached to whatever it hits, if it hits like an enemy. Now the only thing about that is if it's let's quickly jump out of this and make sure that it still exists in the world. Yeah, as you can see, it should be attached to, and it's kind of somewhere like it's right there. I mean, you can see it. It's just it kind of hit him in like the shoulder somewhere, and he just fell on top of it. It gets attached to the bone that they hit him at. And I'm thinking, depending on how he falls, it's a little bit odd uh, how if you're able gonna like you can see it here, but it's not really obvious right off the bat. It's not like, sticking up or something. So um, that might I'm trying to think of a way to get that to be more obvious. So that's something too that I'm considering working on. Okay, so we have the patrol path for one of those enemies. Let's do another one. So we'll have like two enemies in here. And let's see. So that one's there. And I'm just gonna remove this empty level because it's just a test level and I don't need it here. All right. So we'll do the same. I have um, the second enemy. Let's kind of place him maybe around here, and we'll do another patrol path, and we'll adjust these points. So maybe one of them is going to be around here and another one around here. Let's see if they're all within the navigable area, and that looks like they are, and he should be able to navigate around it that way. Okay, so let's, I need to update these icons because they all look kind of the same. So this one is the first enemy, and this one, let's place him on patrol path 2. Okay, so now there's 2 of these guys, and I think I should take the, kind of just climb up the ladder and maybe get a better drop on them, so to speak. The one thing that I do need, I need to do is when you engage the ladder, it does not currently, uh, you know, put the weapon away while you're climbing. So that is something that I need to do. All right, so let's equip the bow, and let's place an arrow. Where are those guys at? There's one of them. Where's the other one? There's the other one. All right, these guys are some heavy smokers. Ah, shoot, and I think they're a little too smart. So, or I mean, not smart, but they saw me. But okay, with the arrow, it's a one-shot kill, so that's good. Hey, Forbum, welcome. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, sorry, I was I started earlier today at noon, just as normal, but ran into this issue where the engine was just unresponsive, and it wasn't telling me that it was doing anything, like compiling shaders or anything like that. So I ended up having to update my graphics card driver. But yeah, we're back, and that's what I was planning to do, to test out a little bit of combat to see how that works, and it seems to be working okay. These guys are, the AI is getting there, slowly but surely. I'm trying to just add, additional behaviors. Oh, I didn't get any. I still have my 1070. I th have like one of those. I'm not sure if it's like a first generation. It's probably about 6 years old. So yeah, it's a, I would say, mid-level, starting to get towards low end type of thing, nowadays with like 4080 and 3080 and 20 whatever. So yeah, 1070, 1060, they're like, I think they're already considered low end. But yeah, I think it's a target graphics card. Like if it runs okay on that, it should run really well on um, uh up to date, kind of um 2022 system kind of thing. Okay, yeah, so let's see. Inside, going outside is okay. So I wanted to add one thing that I just mentioned was when I engage the ladder, the like right now, if I was to jump into game, if I engage the ladder, it's and I have a weapon, like say I have the pistol, right? So when I engage the ladder, it's still gonna do it, but as you can see, the hands are like, it's like this odd behavior where I'm not grabbing uh, the rungs of the ladder. It's still gonna go. Behavior is wise, it's still gonna be okay, and then you still get the weapon, but you don't get the hands, to kind of show that you're grabbing onto something. Hey, Chadi, welcome, welcome. How are you? How are you? Hope you're doing good. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to edit this blueprint. Thankfully, this is also a blueprint. So, um, and I wanted to when before engaging the ladder, I wanted to this one should be update. Is it? I think it's update held object to say this is going to be actually not set um, overlay state. So set overlay state, and this is just going to be back to default when I engage it. But I wanted to actually get overlay state before doing it. So that way when I exit, I'm back into, I can set it back. So promote to variable, and this is going to be entry overlay state. Oh, Unreal Engine 4 not launching. Yeah, that can be a ton of things for them. Um, oh yeah, thank you, Chadi. It's definitely good to do that as well. It's that, like I said, that's the cool thing about game development, right? It's there's so many things that you can work on, which is awesome. All right, so let's see how this works. So I'm gonna be setting the overlay state, and then switching back to default. Let's test this out first to make sure that this one is updating properly. I can never really understand some of the way these were done in ALS, but let's see. So I'm gonna equip the pistol, and it's still looking like it's got the pistol. And now, yeah, so now it went into, so that's on begin overlap. And do I need to, actually, let's see, I think it was an overlay state, and back to default. Let's see, I'm hoping that this interface call is also going to address setting the value and going and updating the held object. That's kind of part of the ALS system. Let's see how this behaves. But yeah, Chatty, along with that, there's like the updates to the environment, and that's always fun to do. And why does it still? Huh. So it does update the overlay state, but it's like, is it based on where you're looking at? That's kind of odd. Like, if I'm too close. Okay, that's kind of odd. Let's try that again. So without a weapon or any kind of attachment, there you go. It grabs the rungs of the ladder just fine, and you can climb. But then, right before engaging the ladder, if you have like, let's say the pistol. Oh, you know what it is? What it's doing, it also, I know what it is. So it's part of the Anim blueprint, I believe. And in that case, what I'm going to try and do is also address the Anim blueprint. So in this case, it's going to be, so that way I can tell the Anim blueprint that, yeah, we don't have to check that if it's colliding because, you know, um, when you hold the weapon, it's going to do the check to see is the weapon colliding with the wall? And since officially I still have the weapon, I'm still checking for that. So I need to set that variable back to not check. Um, because I believe it wasn't set yet. So let's try and do that, see if that fixes it. And so I'm gonna try and grab the mesh and from here get the anim blueprint anim instance. And from the anim instance I can cast to and this is gonna be anim BP, ls anim BP, and in here I can set the wall colliding will hit wall, set it to false. So hopefully that's not going to be animated. All right, let's see how that's going to work. And then we're going to change the overlay state and I mean save the overlay state because we want to, once we get off the ladder, we want to go back into whatever previous state we had. If it was like a bow, we go back and equip the bow. If it was the pistol, equip the pistol. All right, let's see if this helps at all. All right, so let's equip the pistol. Let's start with the pistol. And doesn't really seem to be doing it. Why is that? Let's try and troubleshoot it. I'm gonna look at the anim blueprint, and this is so cool that you can actually do this. Um, and yeah, if I wanted to, so I wanted to show you this as well. So basically, it's trying to test to see if it's colliding with the wall, and it is, and that's why we can see this output here that is colliding with the, in this case, the ladder. So it says that the weapon will hit the wall, and that's kind of the problem right now because um, oh, maybe I should do this a little bit differently. It shouldn't even run the test if um, because the weapon shouldn't be equipped, once you engage the ladder. So colliding with the wall should not be checked. All right, maybe that's probably a little bit of a better way to do this. All right, let's see how that's gonna turn out. So here we go. So this is my weapon parent where I'm testing to see um, I'm only going to care if it's the player. With the enemy, it can run through the wall. We're not going to be seeing it up close anyways. But this should not run unless the weapon is equipped. So the status of the weapon is equipped. Hey, Chatty. Um, oh yeah, yeah. No worries. Happy to have you. If you need to drop off, please do. That's more important. I would love to see it. If you ever want to share that graduation film, I'd love to see it. All right, so let's try and not do this when um, when the state of the weapon is unequipped, and I need to change that to say, let's take a look at my main character. I'm just going to move this to the side, and let's go into our the parent of this. Oh, terrific, terrific. I appreciate that. All right, let's see. Where is the... All right, so there we go. Since I have multiple types of of characters. I kind of have these, parented and grandparented to give them a little bit of an access. So for example, this is like I call it a grandparent because it also parents the it the NPCs classes, which the friendly NPC and the enemy NPC come from, is also a child of this, along um, with my main character. So as you can see, this is the part in ALS where we're updating the held object. And of course, we have all these states default, masculine, feminine, injured, along with, the bow, the pistol, the knife. So what I wanted to do is when I when I go under default, basically, clearing the held object. So this is going to clear the held object. In here, what I would want to do is I want to set the weapon state to be unequipped. So at this point, I already have a main weapon. And I am not sure if I have in my parent weapon. Let's see, where is my parent weapon? Oh, I just actually just move it to the side. So in my parent weapon, let's see if I have an equipped or unequipped, or is it under state? Weapon state dropped, equipped. So it's not necessarily dropped, but we can use that to make sure that we're not testing the collide with wall. So we can check to see if weapon state. So let's do equal equal enum. Actually, we can do a switch here. Not sure if we're gonna do anything else off of it, but let's switch. And if it's equipped, then we're gonna do the box trace for objects. And if it's dropped, then we won't do that. All right, so that's in the weapon. And this being the weapon parent is going to apply to like the pistol, the bow, and everything else. And then back in the parent, I wanted to set the state, set state to say dropped. All right, so let's compile this. And this is what this happens in the default state. So the default state is just the normal walking, nothing in hand. And let's do that. And back in our event graph, this is the clear held object, but I also wanted to tell it when I equip it that this weapon, and I can actually move it under the unholster weapon, which is part of the weapon parent, to say that this state is going to be set to, the state is going to be set to uh, equipped. So let's see, what was the name of it? Weapon state. Actually, I wanted to set it. So set weapon state to equipped. Hey heavens, yes, the ladder will be climbable as well as other climbing points in the world. Not sure if you've seen any of the like the custom climbing that I have for some of the places in the map, and it's all under the same package, which is really good package as well that I managed to get. Okay, so now the weapon is set to equipped. Let's test this out. I wanted to make sure. Hey, you too, Chatty, and good luck with that. Good luck with the short film. Perfect. All right, so we're addressing, and I think this one we're not gonna need this anymore. So. It should be just this. We're saving the overlay state to make sure that we can go back to it when we exit. And then we're updating the overlay state to default. So I'm hoping that would be enough to change it to say the weapon now is not, well, dropped is probably not the proper term here because, you're not dropping it, but it's not enhanced. So let's first test it just to see that it still works once you climb it. Okay, so that looks fine. And so you can climb the ladder. And now let's equip. Let's start with the pistol. And still nothing. What the heck? Let's see what's happening here. So under the weapon parent, event graph. Okay, so we're not colliding with the wall, but I am thinking that if we were to look at the anim blueprint, let's see what's going on here. I believe that variable is still set to true. Yes, the weapon will hit wall. So that one's still left in a true state. And so that way I think uh, back in our ladder here, I think we should have kept this as is, because we need to set it at least one time, right, when we overlap. So let's do that. And that last instruction, I don't think is being sent through. So because what I'm doing first is I'm setting the state, and uh, I'm not updating the weapon will hit wall. Let's test this out. All right, so let's equip the pistol here. All right, so we're doing that. See, is it still not behaving? What's going on? Let's take a look. Let's do some of this digging. So it's still thinking that the weapon will hit wall, but why? It's not doing this anymore. The weapon state is dropped. Why is that? Oh, because I'm doing it before this. Let's see if I don't think I'm doing it in the right order. So I'm gonna set the state to be default, and then let's also reset the value of that. Let's try this again. Now let's equip the pistol. Well, this is disappointing. Why? Why is this still set to true? So we're setting the overlay state back to default. Let me try and just set it like this, because I'm not sure if this one actually does what I think it does. Let me just set the overlay state to default. I'm not sure if I'm going to need to call into here, like, and then call update held object. Let's test this out. The way some of these interfacing works in ALS, I still don't really have a perfect grasp on it. All right, so we have the pistol, and it's still down, holding it down there. All right, so in default state, that works, to engage at the ladder and climb up. So let's try and also back in the weapon parent, not the weapon parent, sorry, when I engage the ladder, let's from here update held object. All right, and then just gonna try and set the variable for the weapon will hit wall back to false. So hopefully that's gonna get that anim blueprint node is gonna get bypassed. All right, so now let's equip the pistol. This is so annoying. Hey Severin, welcome, welcome. How are you? I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I had a little bit of a hiccup earlier today with with Unreal, but after updating my graphics card driver, it seems to have gotten over it. Um, oh, nice. If you ever feel like sharing, I think you have me on Discord, so um, we'd love to hear ideas. All right, so what's happening here? Why is this still weapon will hit wall? So it's testing if this one is set, main weapon, weapon will hit. Oh, this is, well, let's see. Am I not doing oh, I think I might not be changing the right variable. Silly. So I think this one is weapon will, nope. Where am I getting this from? It's from the character, the main weapon, which should be a weapon parent. Oh, right. So from here, this is the ladder. So what I need to get is I actually need to get the main weapon. And in the main weapon, I need to set, because this is a weapon particular variable, will hit wall, and I'm going to set that to false. All right, let's try this one more time. Exactly. I want to try it if I finish it as well. Um, I am hopeful that this summer I'm going to be publishing at least like a pre-alpha with most of the gameplay elements in place. Of course, maybe even like a few little side missions, not anything that's too important, but at least that's my hope. And if I can get this little thing to finish, that will get me even a step closer. Why would this not update? So main weapon is a pistol. This is one of the things that I think they completely broke in 5.1 or like the 5 series. This used to work so easily in 4, like the debugging, but now it's just it goes as far as like crashing the engine. I'm not sure if they have like a leak or something, but it's just not working right. At least not working it like the way it used to. Maybe they changed the way it worked, but I doubt that. So hopefully this is not going to crash the engine because given there's a number of variables in here, I'm just going to quickly exit. Plus having 30 tabs open does not help. Oh man, should not have done that. This is when you need like an appropriate number of gigs of RAM, and 16 is no longer appropriate. Come on. I'm kind of looking for, I'm not sure if 5.2 is going to address any of these issues, if they see it as an issue either. But yeah, right now I think it just gobbled up all my RAM. Just from a simple trying to search for a debug. Yeah, as you can see, I only have the typing cursor and it's not even like that, um, and now it's almost completely freezing up. Come on, you can do it, you old timer. Note to self, try to not debug on on tick variables because the engine does not like it. Come on. I think it just froze my entire machine, I think. Yep, and a hard crash. Yeah, so to anybody wanting to do game development, at least anything but mobile, 16 gigs is not enough. Well, the good thing is that I saved, and I do not rely on the autosave in the engine. I just compulsory save stuff. Hopefully the stream did not fail. Hopefully we're still going. It looks like still going, but yeah, heavens. Um, yeah, and the video memory issues as well, old video card, that's what's gonna happen. Especially when, developing. Of course, I never run into it when I play the build, but developing is just a different kind of an animal. Clicking save too much. I'm the same way. Like I think well, and I'm more OCD, especially before testing something, because I know it's gonna go like kind of like, not necessarily, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, this is gonna crash. I'm gonna save now. So yeah. But let's just test this out in the test level before going into the main persistent map where it's a lot more impact on my machine. So let's I'll just use the test level to address this little functionality, this little gameplay that sometimes you don't even think about, right? Uh, what happens when you have a weapon equipped and then you engage a ladder? All right, so let's see if hopefully this is gonna. I never really understood why it always runs to this preparing animations when there's no animation involved. Um, yeah. All right, so let's see. I believe I have a ladder. Okay, it's right there. Just for testing purposes, let's just bring the player start over here and see if we can see exactly what's happening. I'm going to try and run some breakpoints. So we have the ladder right there. And let's take a look. Where is my zone ladder? I hope I still have that open. To place a breakpoint right on that. Um, so when I interact with it, or when I overlap with it, to see if do I not have it open anymore? Let's try opening it up again. So edit this one. There we go. So in here, when I overlap with it, let's run through the steps. Why would that get triggered? Oh shoot, is the screen still, my bad. Um, let me stop this real quick and restart it. I think, since everything froze, OBS like the also froze, so I'll be right back. 1 second. All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Evans. Yeah, that was really appreciate that. I was seeing that it was black, but I'm like, okay, it might just be on my end. All right, so the question is, why would it think that it's an overlap when I'm over here? That's kind of an interesting thing. I'll need to take a look at that. All right, so let's try and engage the ladder. Actually, I'm gonna equip a weapon first. So let's go with the pistol. Let's engage the ladder. Okay, so that's good. It needs to get into that. Then what was it was F10. Oh, this is annoying sometimes. Let me try and move this out of the way. Let's bring it down here. Does it fail to cast to it? It shouldn't. Let's do a quick print string here. Failed to cast ladder. Yes, I mean, why would it? All right, so there we go. So we're setting the entry state because it was, I mean, it started as idles. So, oh, is it? So it's default. It should also work. And then we're updating the primary held object. Then the weapon will hit wall set to false. Okay, let's see if that works when I have a weapon equipped. So I'm gonna go ahead and equip the weapon. I need to figure out why this is triggered right at the beginning of the game. This is, I think it might be a problem with this package. Um, that's why always, when you buy stuff off of the marketplace, you need to, take it with a grain of salt. You're still gonna have to make changes to things. All right, so oops, actually I did not equip a weapon, so okay, so this works. That's good. Let's place a pistol. Oh, interesting. Failed to cast ladder. Oh, because the pistol overlapped first. Okay. Then, oh, that's an interesting kind of thing here. The so component begin overlap on the trigger box. Let's try and get past this because there's going to be other attachments that the player might have um, that would be as actors. So trying to avoid that. Let's see, so we have the pistol. All right, so there we go. Now I got the casted the character, updating the held object. Let's see, the weapon will hit wall. Is it getting, let's see, what's the main weapon? Okay, which is the pistol, and that's good. Oh, I'm hoping I'm not gonna crash this thing again. Oh my God, why is this so bugged? And I didn't even do it on like a tick event, so I guess never do it? What's the point of this if it doesn't work properly? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if anybody else has this issue, if it's just me. Yeah, and that's what I was going for, but like I said, I've never had this trouble in 4.27. I was able to and this was like it was so snappy, like when you were hovering over these, in order to test what it was working so well, and now it's just completely freezing my computer. Let me see. Hopefully I can like shut it down before it just eats all my. Yep, there it goes. Um, yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen here, from what I can tell. Doesn't even go into all control delete because the entire RAM is eaten up by Unreal at the moment. is frustrating to happen, try to stream about it and um well, it's not ALS, right? I mean, it's because this is just targeting a simple blueprint, like a dead simple blueprint. There's nothing complicated um about it. It's just the problem of it is that it's just does not um what was I gonna say? Um it's just a debug that that's having trouble because with the same exact same system, I had the exact same system in Unreal 4.27, and I never had this issues. So just uh, debugging simple things results in some troubles like this. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean ALS it is complex, but it just doesn't touch on this on that particular blueprint I was trying to which is a again uh, I was just debugging one actor that's in the world. But yeah, it can't handle it. I'm thinking it's just 16 gigs of RAM. Like I said, it's not enough anymore. The good thing is that it looks like the stream has not interrupted, which that's good. So hopefully I'll try and do this. I'll try and do this offline. It's definitely either an order of operations where I'm setting it so that uh, don't don't set that variable in the anim blueprint to say to pull the arm back that you're gonna collide with the wall. So I'm gonna try without debugging just to move some things around. I'll give it uh, one last try, and if it still doesn't work, maybe we'll just do a little bit of level design and that warehouse level to put down like put pour the concrete, put the parking lot down. Um, and then I'm not sure exactly what kind of resources streaming also takes out of this computer. Oh, I've used debug only a few times in UE4, but ended up up to level a very long. Oh shoot, yeah, I've never run into that. And like I said, with Unreal Engine 4, um, everything that I was just trying to do with debug was working perfectly. Um, yeah, so anyways, let's take a look at um, so in here, uh, if it's equipped, then um, make it so that you check for this. And I don't need that. Maybe I'll try and do it actually in the character class. So basically in here, where I'm updating it to say, to go back into default, I'm already clearing the held object. And I know that the main weapon it's going to have a state of weapon of dropped. So let's see if I can set it right here. Set weapon. I thought it was in the main weapon, wasn't it? Collide or something. Weapon will hit wall. So let's try and set this here back to false. And and give this one more try. All right, let's take a look. All right, so let's equip the pistol again. There we go. Nice. Okay, so that works. It was just a matter of like order of operations. Let's see if I get off the ladder. Okay, so when I get off the ladder, I have not set it back to what it's supposed to be. There's going to be some errors that I'm going to need to fix, especially when it's trying to access this main weapon. All right, so let's bring this back here. All right, so we're updating the held object. Now, once we exit, um, once we exit the box, this trigger box, basically once you get off the ladder, what I want to do is I want to set that back to its original state. And I think I might also need to get the current weapon and just promote us to a variable to kind of save it here. All right, so now that we're in here, let's actually do the same thing that we just did here with try and move this down a little bit, like so. This is the custom movement mechanics. All right, so I'm gonna get setting the overlay state of updating the held object. Let's duplicate this, bring it down here. And then the overlay state is going to be our entry overlay state that we just saved. And then this one's going to be our actor. And I'm going to use this main weapon just so that I'm placing that there. All right, let's see at least what mess this prototype is going to create. Let's just move the player here. Let's equip the pistol. All right, so we're in a pistol state. We get on the ladder. I still need to um, kind of put the pistol away a little quicker. All right, so now we're climbing on the ladder. Let's get off the ladder. And there we go. Okay, that works. We get the pistol back. It's a little honky when it equips the pistol. I need to address that, but um, there it goes. It climbs the ladder. Let's see once it gets up and off the ladder. Yeah, that little hiccup. I think it's something part of the montage. But now we can get the weapons moving on the ladder rungs, getting off the ladder. There we go. All right, well, let's jump into the nice level. Yeah, and I do have some errors that I think it's just trying to assign a value to a um, kind of a null actor or a non-actor and that's why there's some of these that error message. Okay, let's get back into our persistent map and test it out with some of the enemies as well. And, like climbing the equipping, having the bow equipped as you would have maybe in the game, getting up to the ladder, climbing it, putting engaging the ladder, putting the bow away, climbing the ladder, then uh, equipping the bow again, and taking down those enemies from the roof. Let's check that out. So this takes a little bit longer to load because it's got literally everything that the game is gonna have, so it takes a little bit longer. But yeah, for me at least, if it wasn't for Lumen, I would not have switched to UE5. I would have stayed in um, 4.27 because that was like the most stable version that I've ever used for Unreal. But yeah, Lumen was a kind of also it was a selling point. I don't care about Nanite, but yeah, Lumen is awesome. All right, well let's get into this. See how this works. All right, so you'd be carrying the bow around, like that. Let's see, you also have an arrow in it. Coming up to the ladder. There you go, climbing up the ladder, getting on top of the roof. Oops, wow, that's a kind of an interesting. I haven't seen that yet. Why would it do that? That's kind of a weird little um, bone, um, kind of a bone rotation, deformation, whatever you want to call it. Huh. See if I switch weapons. If Oh, don't tell me this guy has already seen me. Really? He's getting into an equipped. Let's see, what is the debug telling me? Can't see player true, so he can. Okay, he can't see me anymore, so he's gonna go and kind of patrol around. Alright, let's unhide this. Let's equip the pistol. Alright, so the pistol seems to be working okay. The bone, once you re-equip it, I think it was like getting off the ladder. It might be that's uh, must have been related to that. Like once you got off the ladder, it had that hiccup. Let's see, what's this guy doing? Can this guy see me? I mean, I would expect they would, but it's not. Why can't it fire at me? I'm wondering if it's because this is an area that it cannot reach. Could that be it? I wouldn't think so. Because he's like trying to equip it and so he's going into can't see player set to true. Oh shoot, that was kind of a nasty fall. That was kind of funny. That's I should not actually, I don't think I should be setting the fall damage to be that big from from this. I mean, yeah, it's like 5 meters. You would potentially, break an ankle or something, but not die. Uh, that was interesting. Well, let's try seeing this again. I want to see if these guys can attack you, if at least they are on the same level. So let's go again with the bow. Let's try and make this full screen. Oh, there it is. All right, so this part here is where something I need to fix. And I think he ran out of bullets, so now he's going into kind of the melee attack, but it's still not doing it's not a it's using that attack when he's way there because I'm moving away from him. So like he's going to my position, and then if I move away, he's going to try and attack at that position. So that shouldn't be the case. I need to fix that part of the behavior tree. So there he goes. Like in this case, the arrow got stuck to his head, so it's like I would expect it to be as far as placement, and you can see it, and it's going to be an interactable item, so you can pick it back up and of course up your. Right now I'm down to 9 arrows. Up the number of arrows. Where is this other dude? I think his patrol section was through here. All right, so that at least the combat works okay. They the arrow is still around here, so once I have that, make that interactable, you'd be able to pick it up. Yeah, that's good. I'm quite happy with that, especially getting um, the interacting with this custom zone, this ladder to put the weapon away, and once you get off the ladder to re-equip that weapon they had when you engage the ladder, which is the point. All right, let's see. Another thing that I was thinking about doing, let's see how long we've been going at it. I guess this round is 25 minutes. Um, is maybe trying to set up the concrete, uh, surface in this park in this warehouse. And for that, I'm probably going to use the same. Of course, I'm going to use the same material that I've had in some of these other parking lots. And there's it's actually, I believe it's from here. Like this one fitted the bill pretty well. It's either this one or let's take a look at where the substation is. There's another one here. This could also look pretty good. Let's try this one out because this one also has some um, like a little bit of vertex paint. So that could be interesting to use. Let's try this out. Let's see how this looks. And make sure that I'm on the right level. Just for this delivery warehouse level. All right, so let's jump from there to here. Yes, yes, I know. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. I mean, it might be a little too bright, to be honest. Let's see if we can adjust that material to make it a little darker. Da, da, da. Maybe something like that could work. All right, the one thing that I need to do is actually just place these on a bit of um, kind of a bigger grid, just to be able to maneuver them a little bit easier. So like that. That way what I can do is under the grid, I can go and place this at 100. And then when I duplicate this, should snap pretty nicely like that. There we go. So it moves along. The only thing is that, of course, since it does have the weight paint or like the vertex paint, I need to kind of just make sure that I don't have the vertex paint right on the edges because there's two different textures, like one that's slightly damaged with a puddle and one that's not so damaged with no puddles. But and that's the thing. If you paint it right on the edge like this, let's see, can I get to like this? I guess over there it looks okay, but before I only had like this one corner and it wasn't looking so well. So once you have everything joined together, you can select them all and just, kind of paint away the damage. And this one, let's make it a little darker like that. There, just kind of like that. That looks actually kind of nice. All right, let's pave the rest of the parking lot. Now, whether I'm gonna end up using this particular texture or not, that's to be seen. I do like it, and I want to use the same one across the entire world, and hopefully that's going to be able to end up doing it like that. All right, so that looks kind of good with these decals blended in. There's a little bit of a little bump there, but that should be, I can address that by sculpting the terrain. Let's place some more like alongside the parking lot here. There we go. Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah, I try to put in as much work into it as I can. Um, real world permitting. But yeah, it's definitely something that I'm really passionate about. So um, any little time that I have goes into it. There we go, like that. Put another one here. I guess there's gonna be some sculpting the terrain needed over here. Let's do that. So flatten and target. I think it's going to be this one here. Yeah, having the grid is so helpful. There we go. That's better. You know, there's like a kind of a concrete surface around here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and select all these and maybe try and paint some kind of what would be a more realistic vertex paint. Right now it's just like these scattered like a Dalmatian kind of thing. But let's try and actually make it look a little bit more decent, and then we'll paint the terrain to um, to get some of those grasses to stop growing through the concrete. All right, so I think I have everything selected. Let's go into um, and actually I'm just gonna remove all the vertex paint. So now it looks like this. And let's see about what would where would we want to paint some of this. And this is another thing that's lacking here. Not that I'm complaining too much about this, but you used to be able to use like the square brackets to increase the radius for this. Like you can do it in when you do the terrain editing and painting and sculpting, but not anymore in in the vertex paint. Like if I press the square bracket keys, it does not resize uh, the size of the brush. So I don't know. All right, let's try and paint some of the stuff here and there. Try and make it maybe a little bit smaller. Maybe probably somewhere underneath this. Probably a little bit along the building. Kind of going this way a little bit. Around some of these entrances. Maybe along this kind of this cooling line. Around the corners of this building here. And of course, that particular, kind of the puddle was the easiest to set up, but it could be something else, like maybe um, just a just a damage of this, because like I said, it has a different texture. So there we go. Just add a little bit of variety in this. All right, let's paint some of the terrain underneath it and actually just sculpt it up so it's up on this level. All right, so let's flatten. Let's pick up the target. Kind of get it to there. Okay, that's pretty good result there. There we go, nice. All right, let's just address the spline here. And was it on the left? No, I guess it was on the right. There we go. All right, well, let's paint some of just the path so we can remove some of this vegetation. Just like that. All right, let's add a fence, and I think, at least for now, that should be good. There we go. Let's remove some of this. And hopefully next week we'll continue. I'll be working on some of the. I'll continue some work on the mechanics. Like fixing some of these little trouble areas where like the animation is not quite playing right. It just looks a little off. And also trying to figure out why the having that bow and going up the ladder, the bones were all skewed up like that. And next week maybe we'll finish off this area, just adding some of the filler assets around here. But like I said, let's add the fence, and I'm going to be using this little fence that I had um, with the eye scatter tool. And this one in particular, what I need to do is there's a little bit there's one flag in this, because like see, this one did not get loaded just yet, and sometimes that um, what I'm told is that it's depending on when the level gets loaded and when this one particular construction script runs. And that's why it probably did not, because that's what, once you select it and you refresh it, it works fine as well. It works fine in the game, but it, in this case, it didn't. So I'm just going to go with this one because the setup is already in place, like the setting of this eye scatter tool. So I can just increase the number of fence meshes, and that should be it. All right, so there we go. We have it in here. And we can just duplicate this. And as easily as that, we have another set of fencing. Let's try and just put them close. Make sure that the joints are in the right place. And I think this one is the right one. Yeah, see, it's got this little nub here. Let's try and, as best as I can, place them so that they kind of link together as best as possible. Let's try and get this down to 1. There we go. That's much better. Still not quite perfect. I mean, I'm getting too picky here, but there. Okay. Pickiness aside, that is almost as good as it can get. All right. Well, let's add some more number, a little bit higher number to this, and yep, another one. I just need to extend this further. 11. Oops, it went off the off the section here. I think we already had too many. Let's do, what was it, 9, 8? All right, 8 is enough. But it just, this one went too far out there. Let's see, do I want to extend this out with one more of these? I guess I could do it. Or the other option would be to make this a little smaller. Let's try 0.95. I think that might be able to, I might be able to get that into here, can we? All right, and let's make them a little tighter because the spread is a little too big. So 610, 605, 600, 600 it is. Let's see. Come on. And they're almost together. 585. Let's see. 585, that's too much. 582. All right. Oh, that's kind of interesting. If I set the scales, if I scale this down, then it skews the fixed distance. Okay, that's good to know. So I guess we're gonna have to keep it at 1. And this one, I think it was like a 620. Yeah, so at 620, they all spread evenly. The only problem is that, well, in my case, it kind of goes off the edge over there. It's like it can almost fit. So I'll try and adjust that offline, see what might work best. But let's add another one here to go lengthwise. Yeah, and I might just extend this out a little bit, or, I mean, there's no problem in placing it on the ground, not that it needs to be on the concrete part of things. So that should be fine. Let's continue extending this out to the edge. And I'm going to need a few more instances. 12, 13, or was 12 enough? Did I get any overlaps in here? Nope, that should be good with 13. Okay. So there's the piece on this side. Yeah, I don't really mind having it on the ground and not having it on the concrete particularly. So I'll just adjust it to be that way. Let's just make sure that this one is rotated to here. And try and kind of link them in this section as best as I can. Again, just nitpicking here. All right, that's pretty good. And now this particular point is in the ground, so I need it to be above ground to spawn some more instances. And I think 6 would be enough. Okay, that's good. And then one more piece to go along the road, just like so. Let's see, I think this one, was gonna be there. And then the last one to kind of close it off, it's gonna be around here. And I do have a set of fences that look a little bit more realistic. This looks a little bit kind of high-techy, to be honest. And I'll get that into the project as well. All right, so there we go. We have a fence around our perimeter, the perimeter of this kind of warehouse facility. It's kind of a, not that I look at it, it's kind of a big, kind of a tall fence. It's taller than the semi trucks, which might not be too realistic. And yeah, I mean it's unclimbable for real, but it still feels a little too big, at least for the purposes of just this warehouse facility. Let's see how does it look from up top. Okay, not too shabby. Looks decent enough. These dudes are still patrolling around here, and they're like, smoking is bad for you, boys. The one thing that I'm still debating on is like with the arrow, yeah, it does have a force that it's being, kind of propelled of, so it's gonna fall over time. But I'm trying to not make it so you have to calculate it too much, especially for distances like this. All right, there we go. There's one. Where's the other one at? Oh, there he goes. Actually, I think that hit Oh, nice. And like I say, I was trying to play a little bit um, with the ragdoll when you actually hit the enemy, and seems to be working. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I guess I need to address this. The uh, kind of make the height that you actually are going to take deadly damage where you fall from, just that to be a little bit less, because right now it's I mean, yeah, it's a video game, it's not going to be real world, but you might take a little bit of damage but not die. So that that would be something to address. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm actually quite happy. The day kind of started on a sad note where the thing completely froze, and I had to update my driver. But I think we got something done today, namely, like the interacting with the ladder, the placing some of these enemies and testing out a little bit of the combat through them, and how they react when they're able to chase you down into the warehouse, and how they navigate using that nav mesh. And yeah, just building out a little bit more of this area around here. Um, like I said, I'll try and save the rest of the level design for maybe next week, and try to hold myself back from doing that, but and just kind of focus a little bit more on the mechanics. So with that said, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you guys have a great week coming up, and I'll see you on next weekend. Yeah, Heavens, you do the same. Yeah, I got a few hours to enjoy the to enjoy the 46 degrees weather Fahrenheit and the rain. But I'll definitely try and go for a walk or something. Um, all right. Well, everybody, take care, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.